start with you. Doesn't the Congress party seriously risk alienating some of the people, at least, who gave it this historic mandate, this large mandate? You've taken 4 days, and this whole thing is playing out in public, not like in the BJP where it happens in private. Wouldn't some of those people be disillusioned? I mean, if these two leaders were able to keep their ambitions in check for 3 months or 6 months, the better part of the campaign, why can't they do it now?
Well, good evening to all your viewers, and the answer is clearly no. If you look at history or even the history of some of the recent state elections, in 2017, when there was an election in UP, and there were 3 contenders, I think Manoj Sinha, Keshav Maurya, and Mr. Yogi, and it took more than 7 days to come to a consensus and to come to a decision. And after that, Mr. Yogi was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. As recently as in 2021, if you look at the state assembly elections of Assam, a very similar thing happened. There was a delay of 8 days because there was this conflict between Hemant Biswa Sharma and Mr. Sonowal. And I think it took about 7 to 8 days before a consensus could be arrived. And after that, Hemant Biswa Sharma was sworn in. And it has been like 3 or 4 days after the election results were out in Karnataka. So we have had instances of 7 to 8 days in choosing of the CM. And while I am not trying to make a comment on their internal process, I think this entire frenzy in sections of media and this frenzy being artificially created by the opposition, which is the BJP in this case, is completely uncalled for. We have a democratic process within our political party.
I don't think this is being created by the media. Yeah. It is playing out in the full public glare, in the media glare. The media can't, walk away from a story when the story is playing in the public domain.
Of course.
But having said that, let me ask RP Singh the point that you made. RP Singh, the point is...
Can I just complete the point?
Yeah, I've heard you. Let me ask the question that you asked about how, in the case of Yogi Adityanath, the BJP took 7 days. In the case of Himanta Biswa Sarma, you took 8 days. Why are you begrudging RP Singh, the Congress, for taking 3 or 4 days? After all, it's a big state, it's a historic mandate. They will take their time to arrive at a consensus Chief Minister.
Well, we have no problem. They can take another probably few months also to decide their Chief Minister. But Zaka, please ask your backup team to search through, was there any noise in the media or anywhere else or there were any leg pulling or any sort of another level of tug of war going on between the CM candidates like is going on here in Karnataka? One. Secondly, parallelly you are missing on one thing, which is that what's happening in Rajasthan today. I mean, what happened in Rajasthan a few years back, and the people of Rajasthan have suffered because of that, and exactly the same is being repeated in Karnataka today. Sachin Pilot was in race. He was not made the Chief Minister. He was made the Deputy Chief Minister, the promise of rotation or probably that after 3 years he will get the term. But that didn't happen. And now what we've seen how the law and order has collapsed, how things have collapsed and administration has collapsed in Rajasthan. So our concern is the same in Karnataka also. I mean, God bless them, they can take their time as much they want to, but ultimately it's the people of Karnataka who are going to suffer because of the tug of war going on between the leaders of the Congress party, whether it's Shiv Kumar, whether it is Siddaramaiah, or whether it is Mr. Kharge himself.
Okay, R.K. Upadhyay, this whole thing about a third candidate, Mr. Kharge or Mr. Parmeshwara, whoever it is, how much do you lend credence to that? Because like I said a moment ago, it ends up alienating both Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. Shiv Kumar. I'm not sure what purpose is achieved by that. Have things got to a point where neither party can be placated, neither party can be sort of enthused, even if he were to lose the chief ministership, something else is given in return? Because this third candidate business, it's been floating around for a couple of days now. How much... How real is the possibility of a third candidate, a surprise candidate?
No, I don't think that is possible because these are the two principal, actors who won this election for Karnataka, and there's no third person who has won this election. If at all, some role has been played, it is by Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, giving a helping hand as a Congress president. And if you're talking about people like MB Patil or Parameshwar, they had a little role in these elections. So to make them as a third candidate or a possible compromise candidate, I think it will be turning the whole exercise into a farce. And it won't happen because these two have really worked really hard to bring Congress, to this level where they got 135 seats.
So between these two, who would you choose between these two?
See, it's very difficult, and I think they should have made this decision at least a week before, when they had a sense that Congress was getting a majority. I'm sure they knew that they were getting a majority, or at least when these observers were sent to Bangalore, and they meticulously took the opinion of each and every legislator till 2 a.m. They took them, and then what did they do with that? With all the information that they had.
No. The information there was very clear, Mr. Upadhyay. The MLAs very clearly, overwhelmingly voted or were in favor of Mr. Siddaramaiah. But clearly that's not the only yardstick the High Command wants to go by.
No, but see, by dragging the whole thing to Delhi and making a spectacle of it here, what is that you have achieved? I think they've made made Karnataka into a farce now.
Okay.
Because you have the media glare, every single meeting of, whichever leader's meeting, whichever leader is being covered, and people are speculating on what's happening. And the fact that the Siddaramaiah group went to town this morning saying that he has been selected and in Bangalore, the preparations began for swearing in. This all, I think, must have embarrassed the Congress party.
Oh, absolutely.
How did they allow
today you had celebrations outside Siddaramaiah's house. You had protesters outside 10 Janpad. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing. When you have protesters outside the house of the former Congress president. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing because that's the point, Meeta Chakrabarti, that all the panelists are making. The BJP has also taken its time in choosing its chief ministers, not like this publicly. Not like this publicly.
Allow me to rebut to that. Congress is my party and Congress is like my mother. These are not my words. These are words spoken by DK Shiv Kumar, and give me 30 seconds or 1 minute of uninterrupted time, please. So both Siddaramaiah and Mr. DK Shiv Kumar are very tall leaders, incredibly talented, very hardworking, and we are choosing between two very tall
Ma'am, we
leaders.
know all of that. Please answer the question I asked you. I asked you a simple question. I'm asking you a very simple question. They may be tall leaders, they may be indefatigable leaders, but why are you allowing this dirty linen to be played out in public? That's the question I'm asking.
After getting... So I have a problem when you say dirty linen, because, sir, answer me very simply. When someone says Congress is like my mother, there is no question of blackmailing or backstabbing. Does it seem like dirty linen?
Can I answer that?
Ma'am, for the last 3 days, this is playing out in front of the cameras. You're okay with that?
We are taking our own time.
Congress party is okay with...
What is being played out?
No, please take... Ma'am, you're missing the point. Ma'am, if you can calm down and hear me for 10 seconds... Nobody has a problem with you taking 5 days or 10 days or even a month. The problem is it's all happening in front of the cameras. People are coming out and making statements in front of the cameras. Laddus are being given in front of the cameras. Firecrackers are being burst in front of the cameras. Why is all this happening in the public domain?
Okay.